What's up, marker heads? It's Karen from Art by Karen E. Haley, and today I have Lake Play, which is a drawing of Piplup and Mudkip playing together in a lake. And this drawing is just going to be of like the background. You won't get to see the water being colored in this picture, but the background looks really good. I'm really proud of this drawing, and I'm really happy that I'm finally able to post this one because I did this like last September. So it's taken me a long time to go through all of my old videos and post them up. So what I'm doing right now is coloring in the flat color of the sky, and what I usually do is I start with a light color. So I think what I'm using is BG11, and then I start blending B41, but you can't really see it because I'm coloring out of frame. And whenever I do that, I would just want to smack myself from the past and be like, why did not you check? You know? So I figured out that I was coloring out of frame, so I moved the picture. And I think right now I'm using B41. Or no, that's BG11. Never mind. What I'm doing is just darkening the dry BG11 with the same marker. And then I'm blending BG45 or B02, I can't exactly remember which one, but I'm blending it with the BG11, so that's pretty much the colors I used for the sky, and the colors I used for this mountain are B21 and G20, and then I'm blending it all with the blender. And when I did the mountains, I kind of took inspiration from Bob Ross, and I used the side of the nib and just let the texture of the nib do the work for me, which turned out looking really good. And it's kind of a cool little tip. If you want your mountains to look really natural, I would suggest trying like maybe touching the side of the chisel nib to the paper or even the brush nib and just seeing what happens. I guess if you're a Bob Ross fan, you'll know what I'm saying when I say happy little accidents make your painting look really good sometimes. So that's just a suggestion. And if you've never seen Bob Ross, I really highly recommend checking him out because yes, he does painting, and I think he does oil painting, but his tips can be applied to all art, really. I mean, he makes comments about like color and color choice and how to compose your picture in a way that draws the viewer's eye to where you want it to go. And so that's another suggestion, is to check out Bob Ross. And another Bob Ross type of tip I have is what I'm doing right now is just using the pointy end of the Copic, just using the brush end to make that tree line. Now that is one of my favorite cheats to do. It makes my artwork look really super detailed without having to actually do a whole lot of work. All I do is just, instead of drawing all those little triangles, all I'm doing is just dabbing the marker on the paper. And it looks really pretty good, and I would definitely recommend you trying that out too. Now, this background, I actually have scripted a tutorial on how to do this particular kind of background with the foothills and the mountain and tree line and things like that, so kind of like a forested, distant hills background type of thing. And I have it all ready to go, except that a bunch of the markers that I planned on using all died when I was working on another picture. So that's a mistake that I learned from. Don't use the markers you plan on using in a tutorial and then run out of ink before you can film the tutorial. So that's kind of a mistake that I made. So now I don't have any G21 or like a couple of my blue colors. So I'm actually going to be putting a bunch of my original art up on Etsy to sell because I really need to buy refills so that I can make more videos for you guys, especially tutorials, which I'm planning on focusing on doing a lot of tutorials this year. So, that's a big reason why I was really excited to post this video, actually, was because I'm doing a tutorial about Distant Hills. I posted a picture of Jolt the Jolteon, and it had kind of a similar, like, Distant Hills background, and when I was doing the audio for it, I mentioned that I'm going to be doing a tutorial about that type of background, or maybe I just said it had something to do with that picture, but that was what I meant, was that I was going to do a tutorial about a background like this. And so that's the one that I had scripted out, and then I just kind of blew it. But oh well. I'm sure that I'll probably sell one of my pictures at least, and I'll be able to buy the refills I need, hopefully. So right now what I'm doing is working on this tree, which I think turned out really cool. I love to do trees with kind of this swirly kind of bark, and I mean, it's just kind of a style choice. You don't have to make your trees look the way I do, but the way that I do it is I just ink the tree with a lot of swirls with my line art, and then I kind of follow all of those with the shading when I color with the tree bark colors, like the browns and things like that. And I do really like the way that this picture overall turned out. Now here I'm going to start doing a method that I call the tip-to-tip method. I learned about it a while ago when I was on the Copic marker website, the old one before they redid it. And basically what you do is you take a light marker and dab it on a darker marker, and then you are able to kind of get a color in between the two. It's not very difficult to do, but if you're going to try the tip-to-tip method, I would recommend that you have scratch paper, because it can stain your marker if you're using a much darker marker than the one that you're using. The light color that you're using, I should say. This method's great if you have only a few markers. I would also recommend probably having refills for the majority of like your light markers, especially because it can also help kind of remove stains. If you get a stain on your marker nib and you can't seem to get rid of it and it's still kind of coloring with a discolored color, what I do with my markers is I drip a little bit of refill ink and then scribble on a piece of scratch paper, and then I refill the marker. That really does help. I mean, it doesn't happen very often, but every once in a while, like if you're using the tip-to-tip method with a red color, it can stain your marker. And that's just an example. It can happen with a lot of different colors, but like the tip-to-tip method makes your artwork look really good, especially if you have a limited amount of colors. It can stain your nibs, and if there's no way of fixing the discoloration, I mean, usually the stain is just a stain and it doesn't affect the color that's coming out of the marker. But if it really bothers you, the great thing about Copics is that you can replace the nibs. So, for instance, I keep a big supply of nibs on hand, and then I just have them ready in case I ruin one of them or whatever. So that's just another tip that I have. This one's more full of tips than most of my commentary. A lot of my commentary I like to talk about things that are happening in my life, but I've gotten a couple complaints about like not talking about the actual artwork. And personally, I mean, I prefer commentary where the artist just kind of talks about their day and things that are happening. And so, I mean, I kind of would like to just talk about things like that because that's what I enjoy, and I want to make videos that I would enjoy if I was just someone who was watching videos. Like, personally, I love watching Lamia Crescent because she doesn't always talk about her artwork, which can get repetitive if you're just watching a lot of the same thing, a lot of the same artist, because most of us do the same things in most of our artwork. So, like, that's why I like to talk about random stuff. So if it bothers you, I do apologize, because I do want to make stuff that you guys want to watch, not just what I want to watch. And so that's why I'm trying to talk more about the actual picture. And I hope that what I have to say is actually helpful. Otherwise, then what's the point in trying to be helpful if it doesn't really make a difference? I guess. Whatever. Here I am coloring Mudkip, which I didn't really want to put into this part of the video, but I also didn't want to just cut up the whole thing a whole bunch. And I feel like this picture is unusual for me because I did it in such an orderly fashion. Normally I just I'm all over the place. That's usually how I color. So this picture is unusual because I started from top and I'm pretty much working my way down. Then I just got bored and I was like, I want to color Mudkip now, and I had to color him before I colored the water anyway, so because his body is partially submerged. That's why I colored Mudkip then. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this drawing, and if you would like to watch more of my artwork, please click on the other markers that you see here. I've got previous, next, and subscribe, so if you guys aren't subscribed yet, please hit the subscribe marker, and I will see you guys in the next part of this video. Thank you again so much for watching. Have a great day.